Okay, hope everybody's enjoying the weekend. Today is Saturday, April 12th, 2014. Just going to do a quick video and just kind of look at the market, and we'll be doing a separate video to look at some of the stock. And if there's a theme for next week, I think the theme will be the round numbers. Okay, let me tell you what I mean when I go through the video. We're going to be basically looking at the S&P 500, going to try to hold that 1800. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff for those media talking head, and to post up and look at the round number. So on the S&P 500, it's basically going to be looking at breaking below that 1800. And right now, you see yesterday, the price action. We're talking about coming down to tag this somewhere around this 1820 level, 1818, 1820 level, and it was trying to hold up there, and it finally broke at the right near the close, and came down dip below that. So right now we're essentially looking at the possibility for it to maybe hold up over here on this pivot somewhere around the 1808. Let me put my data box here so we could get a little bit better look at the numbers here. So let's see here. So that this closing number here on this particular day is somewhere around 1808.37. So it's basically somewhere around 1808. And the thing is, we're probably going to get another spook to take it down to this level and maybe tag this 1800. Right, because we have to create enough fear to shake some of those holding out, thinking that they're going to ride this thing too, and we're gonna, I think the market gonna spook them to, scare them that they might not be right. Then they probably will get out. Then once they get out, then I think the market will turn, and then those sideline people coming in and they think they're gonna be the smartest guy in the world buying this dip. Then we're gonna bring it back up, and we'll see what will transpire later on. So we're going to take a look at the 1800 level. That will be the key. Watch that 1800 to see could it break. If break, it will come down to somewhere around that 1792, 1795 area, right? But essentially, this pivot level here near this essentially the 1794. Okay, so we're basically looking at this particular number here, right? Somewhere around here. So we're going to look at these levels to see is it going to be holding up this particular support here. Then we're going to get a little bit of a spook down here and possibly come down and test this area. So that's also coincide with the trend line as well. Okay, and if we look at the spider, that's the S&P 500 ETF. So we're essentially looking at this level here, this 181.68, 181.70, somewhere around that area. And I was saying, tweeted out during the day that need to hold about that 18, 181.70, and if it close below that 181.70, then we're probably going to see lower level coming through, and it probably will come down and test this 179, 180 level once again. That basically sort of in line with that 1800 on the S&P 500. So these are the level that we want to watch here. These pivot level here. So we got a pivot high here somewhere, right? Okay, and also these closing pivot here. So essentially that 180, 179 and change. Okay, on the spider. Then looking at the Dow Jones 30, the Dow Jones 30 essentially will be the 16,000. Okay, so that's basically up here somewhere around near the level here. And we talk about in the last video about coming down and test this particular pivot for support, which is the March 3rd low. And you can see that it actually it was there for a while. Again, the market kind of sold off in the last 2 hours or so, and just people just don't want to carry anything to over the weekend. And then you see that it came back down and dipped down here. So now that 16,000 will be in play. And so next week, again, the theme will be the round number, and that 16,000 will be one of those round numbers that we're going to see. As soon as it break that, it's probably spook. I think the first time when it break, it probably we're going to get a little, up and down, and probably go back up and that kind of stuff, and then gives some people some false hope, and then we're going to break it and come down and possibly test this particular level, and we're talking about this particular pivot here as well. So we have to look at this, and that pivot level is somewhere around, so close to. Let me see what the heck is that. So 15,928. Okay, so just maybe 70 point under the 16,000. Okay, so and then we look at the Nasdaq 100. The Nasdaq 100, we're talking about coming down and test this support here. Now it's kind of try to hold that support, and most likely it's going to come dip down and maybe tag this 3422 to 3425 area. Essentially, this this low here, somewhere around this low, which is the 3418, 3419. And also this pivot close here somewhere around the 3422. So those are the numbers somewhere around 3420, and that's the number that we want to see can it hold. If it can't hold, then we probably will dip down to this trend line. And if we break that trend line, we'd be talking about coming down to this 200-day moving average, which would be also this particular pivot here. Right? Okay. So again, context. Right? It's the price. It's not the moving average. So we're looking at the pivot. And then for those that looking at the composite, the Nasdaq composite, we're already booked to that 4,000. So it's basically a little bit, just right underneath it. It closed at, I believe it's 39.99 and change. 39.99.73. So we probably will come down and tag this 35.50 most likely. These low pivot level here, these price cluster, and also then it get close to that 200-day moving average. Then everybody will, saying that it held the 200-day moving average, and it's going to bounce off of that. Okay, so let's see. Finally, the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 again. Essentially looking at this, break that 1100. That's the round number, 1100 on the Russell. Right? Because it's booking that trend line here, and it's also basically coming down to this 200-day moving average. So essentially, we're looking at this particular pivot here, somewhere around this pivot here. Okay, and then the low will be essentially right underneath that, and that would be somewhere around. Let's see what that closing number is. 1,093, now 94. So that would be the number. So again, we're looking at 1,100. On the Russell, and 1,800 on the S&P, and 16,000 on the Dow, and the composite is already booked to that 4,000. So those are the round number that we have to pay attention to next week and see what kind of a bounce that we get, and after we break through those round number. Probably will take one or two try before we take it down, and when we take it down, we probably will spook a lot of people. And the thing is to look for certain things. Don't jump into conclusions as soon as we make those numbers. We have to look for a certain price pattern. Look for these little candle doji, okay? Because that's what will tell you that we kind of exhaust the buyer. The seller. So you look for those things, and don't try to be a hero and try to anticipate, because we could have much more, lower prices to go if things doesn't materialize and doesn't pan out on a scenario that we think it might, because anything could happen, right? So either we see these kind of candle, or the tweezer bottom, right? The tweezer bottom, one fat red candle, and then in the follow up with a similar fat candle of green. Then when you add those two up, you get this little hammer doji. Okay, you seen them? I did that before, like these right here. Okay, look for these, or look for these hammer. Okay, then that will kind of give you some clue that we're getting close to that little reactive bottom there. Okay, so good luck, and we'll put another video, and we take a look at some of the stock. Okay, enjoy the rest of the weekend.